This is Katie Huff Ministries with Setting Yourself Free. I am so excited about today. I mean, this is going to blow your mind because this is off the rails for Setting Yourself Free podcast, where we encourage you to be, do, and have all that God created you to be. And I am so blessed and honored to have our dear friend Kim Yeater with Take Our Border Back. And she has her business partners with her, Cornell out of Canada. And we got Randy Barber. And we are here to obviously share with you what's going down, because if you can't feel the energy, then you must be dead. And we have, I want you to obviously listen to this. You need to go to YouTube and you need to subscribe, because I don't want anyone to miss this. You know, we're on every platform from X to YouTube to Spotify to Rumble to all of them. You just need to go there and look for this particular podcast that's going to blow your mind. So I have something to share. I'm going to first introduce my dear friend, Kim, and she's
Katie.
set us up.
Oh, Katie, it's an honor to be with you. You're such a bright light. And, you know, I just love you. As we were sharing with you about Take Our Border Back, how excited you got. You're like, I've got like the Holy Spirit chills, because this really is a move of God. It is. I mean, when you're standing in freedom,
yes,
truly standing in freedom and working on giving power back to people, God-given power, so that we can restore our sovereignty as a nation or restore our freedoms. All that comes from God. So I love the fact that you lead in that. And it's really an honor to be here. And I have to tell you, these guys, Cornell and Randy Barber, you're talking the Take Our Border Back, North America Alliance, the summit of Breaking Bread, Table Talk in Prayer, and Convoy. Eddie leads Canada, and Randy leads New York. So this event, September 27th, 28th, and 29th, is a really big deal. It is all about restoring sovereignty as nations, giving power back to we the people, holding our elected officials accountable. That is so key. And we're hitting the hot topics, providing people with all the resources and the tools so that we can take our power back on a local level, just like our good friend General Flynn says, local action equals national impact.
Amen. And we cannot just sit back and watch this happen. We have to be on the field and be ready to do just that, take our borders back and protect. I mean, if we don't do it, we're never going to have what we've had in our countries.
That's
ever.
right.
So now is the time to get off the couch.
Yes.
Start.
Hey, Katie, I have to throw this out there. All I keep seeing right now is the basketball court and people sitting on the bleachers waiting to be called in, waiting for someone to call them, waiting for the coach to say, go in. There's no more waiting. Go in, stand up, show up, speak up. This is your call. The coach is calling you in. Come on.
That's right. So get your running tennis shoes on, because this is going to be amazing in the next 60 days. So we have an incredible video. I don't know if you want to show that right now.
Yeah, sure. And then we'll let these guys talk about the upcoming New York Canada event.
Absolutely. Hang on one second. And I am not seeing that. So hang on. I apologize. I don't know what happened there.
No worries. Well, while you're doing that, while you're sharing that, this video is pretty cool, because this is the intro to the Take Our Border Back, kind of what you might experience at that event. And Cornell, who leads the Canada team. I mean, Eddie is your well-decorated military. He holds the Bravery Award. His team of teams extended all of that. Eddie reminds me, Kim, it was all of us, the Nobel Peace Prize Award. But Eddie was the one who ran up to me, you know, not run, but God really put us together at that perfect time. It was an answer to prayers for me. Eddie said, Kim, your eyes are on the southern border. You need to look north. Canada has been flying in illegal immigrants for the past 5 years. China has already set up shop. We need America's help to take our country back. That hit me inside. And I remember, you know, within hours, I'm on the phone with, you know, Tom Holman, ICE, Border 911, working with my team. Then soon enough, we're working with Randy Barber and Kim Waltham from New York. And it was the creation of the Take Our Border Back North America Alliance. We joined forces with Canada, Mexico, and USA. And thank God for these teams because they're making it happen. Katie, you have
Awesome.
that video? Did you find
We
it?
are.
Oh yeah, here we go.
I hope so. Wait a minute. I don't know where it went, but hang on. I just had it, but it is.
Yeah, if you want me to pull that up and share screen, I can always do that if that'll be helpful.
Let me see. This should work. There we go. Can you see that? Can you
Yes.
see?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Here we go. Wait a minute. I want to get rid of.
And the sound is on your, and the sound is on?
It is. Here we go.
Beautiful.
Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine art the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever. Five events, three countries, one goal to truly give power back to the people and hold our governments accountable, equip the people to take their power back on a local level. We're so excited.
Oh my gosh. If that doesn't move you to tears, I don't know what is wrong with you. It's because the Holy Spirit goosebumps I have from head to toe. I mean, how could you not be moved to take our borders back and protect our freedom? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful that I could have you all here to share what you're doing, what we need to do to support this and to take back our borders. So back to you, Miss
We're honored to be
Cantor,
here.
or Eddie or Randy. You just get her done.
Come on, Eddie. Eddie, why you doing what you doing?
Well, I think this is probably, one of the most important things that we can do as nations is come together. We all share the same issues, we have the same problems, and we have the same values. And, you have God, family, country, and when those are all in alignment, that's how we win. We need to take control of our nations again. We have a duty to hand our nations to our children and our grandchildren, where it's a safe and, I guess, the type of world that we were fortunate enough to grow up in. And the people that are coming here really, in a lot of cases, don't have the same values that we do. We have a system where people are being flown in, flooding our borders, and they seem to be invading our country, and they're not compatible with our country in a lot of cases. We had a system that did vetting. They've thrown that out the window. It worked for decades. And now they're just bringing everybody in. I mentioned before to others that just in the past couple of months, from Canada on your northern border, 226 known terrorists made it into the United States from Canada. How many got through that we didn't catch in your country?
Yeah.
So this is something that we all need to pay close attention to. And that's why we've come together with Take Our Borders Back with our New York team and our Canadian team. We're going to give people the tools that they can go back to their communities and use the tools that we give them to put them into action, because most people are thinking, I'm just one person. There's nothing I can do. One person can change the world.
Yeah.
And when we unite, think of what we can do united.
It's mind-blowing, like I said, and what a blessing to, just lock arms from all these borders to obviously take back what we deserve, what we have worked. I mean, and I sit and I think about how we are, all our servicemen from
Yeah.
both, all these countries, that all that they did for us not to stand up now for what they've been through is just so disrespectful and dishonoring. It's boggling to me. So,
Yeah.
what would you,
It is.
yeah. So Randy, what are your thoughts there, my dear friend?
Well, first of all, I guess I'd have to agree with about every word that Eddie just said. Hugely important for countries to join together. My first experience with joining together with the Canadians happened a couple of years ago or more. They had their big convoy in Ottawa, and we responded by having a big convoy down in Washington, D.C. I was part of that. And after that was kind of winding down, they called and wanted to know if we could bring an American presence to the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls, which is where we're going back to at the end of September. And we met with our Canadian friends there for the first time, and we've been fast friends ever since. And we met at the bridge, we exchanged flags, prayed together, and we realized the importance of countries standing together. And from there, we went with some of our Canadian friends. We went to Europe, and we rallied with the Dutch farmers on several occasions. We went to Switzerland, and we're all seeing it, whether it's our European friends, our Canadian friends here in America, Mexico. We're all realizing that we have a worldwide situation going on here where they're trying to take our sovereignty and take our freedom and take our countries. And bringing in all this immigration that's illegal is one of the main ways that they're causing chaos and division. We have 2 buildings now in the United States right here on our soil have been taken over by Venezuelan gangs, one in Chicago and one in Colorado. And this is the beginning of the chaos that we're going to end up having out of this, because, as Eddie said, these people aren't always here to assimilate and join in with our country. God bless the immigrants that come in legally. That's great. We've always had that. But all this crazy stuff of just opening the borders and letting people run amok is unacceptable, and it's going to destroy both of our countries. It's going to destroy countries all over the world. Look at what's happening in Europe. This is unacceptable, and it has to be stopped. And as I often say, the reason we have a border problem is because we had a ballot problem. We have people in positions of power who have the ability to throw the borders open, and they're not there because they won the election. They were there because they were installed with a false election. And they're there to represent the interest of the globalists. They're not there to represent the interest of the American people. And it's not just here in America. It's happening in countries all over the world. And so we've worked very, very hard in the election integrity field. I was shocked when I first started into it. I saw that we had 1.4 million duplicate registrations in New York State alone. Just in New York State. And then we realized it's a situation all across the country. And we ended up growing into a fairly large effort in New York State. And we sprung off of that, started another organization that went national, United Sovereign Americans. They're putting lawsuits in federal courts. We're also working at the local level. We're approaching local county boards and demanding change. We're demanding that they follow the law. And the thing of it is, we just kind of sidestepped our duties as citizens for quite a while. Things were good. We got complacent. And while we were sleeping, a lot of things were going wrong and we didn't even realize it. So we're kind of behind the 8 ball. But we've been working really hard at putting the truth out there and waking people up to realize what's happening. And I think the time is right for this event that we're having in Niagara Falls. We're calling people to come out physically now. We've done so much work on Zoom calls and paperwork and computer work and finding the truth and going to the courts. And we have cases laying on court desks all over the United States that are going to be heard over the next few months. Some of it before the election, probably some of it after the election. But the thing of it is what we need now is that the courts, they don't have the courage, or they don't have the integrity, or maybe I don't know what's wrong with the courts. I can only speculate, but they're not following the Constitution. They're not making rulings according to the rule of law, and they've been getting away with it. And these courts have the ability to stop this nonsense anytime they want to. They can stop this. It's in their hands to stop it. That's the only way that we're going to stop it. peacefully.
Mm.
And I hate to see what happens if we end up with another stolen election. They allow this situation to keep going, because I don't think the American people are going to put up with this forever. So the repercussions could be very dire, and we don't want that. We want this to be rectified with the work that we've already done. We want that work to matter. We want these rulings to be according to the rule of law. And if they rule according to the Constitution, we will win, and this nonsense will stop.
Mm.
But we need now for the American people to show up physically, bodily, to get out there and make a show of solidarity.
Mm.
And the other countries that are standing with us and understand the situation, such as our friends in Canada, and our friends in the Netherlands and across the world, where we all need to stand up and make a statement. And this event that's coming up is going to be a great opportunity to do that. We're going to join together with our Canadian friends in a show of solidarity on the Rainbow Bridge like we did before. We're going to have that as a kickoff. We're going to go from there and take our convoy down to DC. We kind of changed our plans. That wasn't in the original plan, but we were asked to pivot and go to DC to a big event. And we're gaining momentum. We've got a lot of people. I'm getting a good response in New York, and I think we're getting a good response in Canada. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that see this as an opportunity to stand on that Rainbow Bridge and make a statement with our Canadian friends, and to convoy from there down to Washington, D.C., and join a very large event where Americans are standing together and standing up and speaking up and saying enough is enough. We need to be seen and we need to be heard. And I can't think of a better way to do it than what we're going to be doing on September 27th, 8th, and 9th.
Nice. Well, and isn't it the most important place that they can go is obviously www.takeourbordersback.com, correct?
Yeah, actually, there's no S. There's no S. It's takeourborderback.com. Absolutely. That's the perfect way to go. And, the call to action here, and I love what Randy just said, you'll see it on our flyers, you'll see it on our marketing to get people out there. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country.
Mm.
We must restore our God-given sovereignty as nations, hold our governments accountable, and restore power back to the people, we the people. So we're calling people to show up, to be with us, to stand up, to speak up. Don't be waiting. Now's the time, because it is about unity. It is about the time is now. It is about for such a time as this. Together we will take our nation back. And I'm going to add in Jesus' name, our scripture for take our border back is, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear their voice and heal their land. In 2 Chronicles 7:14, that's what's got to happen. So these events are putting the power back into the hands of we the people. But first, you got to give people access to that power. And that's why the tools, the resources, the strategies, that event being there, connecting with the leaders that are speaking about the Constitution, individual rights, how to restore that sovereignty as a nation, right? How to utilize God's word and the Constitution so that you know how to take your power back, how to navigate through fifth generation warfare. We are at war. General Flynn, the Citizen's Guide to Fifth Generation Warfare. If people haven't seen that, Katie, they've got to go see flynnmovie.com. It's amazing. I mean, you can get a discount with flynnmovie.com/Kim, but access the movie, watch it, because you're going to understand fifth generation warfare, and get the book, The Citizen's Guide to Fifth Generation Warfare. So topics like that, election integrity, how to restore power back to we the people in the area of elections. We're also talking the human trafficking. What's going on right now is an absolute travesty. It's under our feet. It's huge in America. We've got teams from Veterans for Child Rescue that are bringing to light what's happening, but how to equip the people so that we know how to find it, how to notice it, how to help those coming out. And that's going to be really important in the days to come. But also, how do we set up those safe communities like the old neighborhood watches? These are the things that'll be talked about in Canada, in USA, right? And October 9th, and that is September 27th, 28th, and 29th. And I'll tell you, we're starting in New York, which is super exciting. When we start in New York, we're actually meeting at Niagara Crossing Hotel for a prayer and worship that night. On the 28th, we're launching the Take Our Border Back Canada New York Summit on the Rainbow Bridge. Yes, we're taking our border back. And yes, we're taking the rainbow back because that is God's promise to us, right? And later on the 28th, we're going to go into Canada. Eddie and his teams are leading the Take Our Border Back Summit there with Breaking Bread, Table Talk, and Prayer, equipping the people. And another team is going to be heading out on convoys into DC to restore the Republic with Bobby Kennedy, with Russell Brand, with Laura Logan. I mean, with teams of doctors and professionals. And might I just tell you, the big guy might be there too. Just as a heads up, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Go to takeourborderback.com. We want you guys to be a part of it. And maybe you can't physically be there, but maybe you can actually join us on the live stream. And the live stream for our event is rumble.com/takeourborderback/live, LIVE, and financially support. We were able to do the first round of Take Our Border Back where we reached tens of thousands. We were able to give $10,000 to the Children's Ranch in Quamato. They're building the structure right now to home those that have been trafficked. We were able to support Britain Farms and even teams in San Diego. That money didn't go to any of us. None of us from Take Our Border Back have received any of that money. It's gone back into we, the people, into what's important. Now, this second round, it's been a little bit dry, but we know that God is sowing the seeds. We are trusting that God will provide. So if it's on your heart to give, to support these events, to give power back to the people, to reclaim our sovereignty as nations, go to givesendgo.com/take our border back. That's givesendgo.com/take our border back. It's time to take our border back. Katie, I just want to say thank you. I have to pop off. I'm in meetings back to back, but in honor that you're just such a stand for freedom, you're in good hands because you've got the New York and Canadian warriors in the house. They got you.
Well, I appreciate your time, Kim, and I'll stick here with Mr. Eddie and Mr. Randy, and we'll be in touch, and God bless you and all that you're doing. And I totally support you. And I just can't wait to see how this is going to end because God wins in
the end. So Katie, I'm hoping to see you in New York and Canada. Come on, and Katie's teams.
That's right.
Bless you.
God bless you.
Guys. I'll see you.
Have a great day. So that is so exciting, guys. It just blows me away how hard you guys have just locked arms from the northern border to the southern border to, coming together. And obviously that video is we started is so touching. And I don't know if there's something else that you want to share, Randy or Eddie, that'd be awesome for a few more minutes. If you have something on your heart you want to share, that'd be awesome.
Sure. I'll go first if you don't mind.
Not at all.
People have to make a decision, and now's the time. What kind of country do you want to have? There's no waiting. Do you want to live in a Marxist communist regime, or do you want to live in a free society that has the values and the respect for its citizens? The one that we grew up in, the one we'd like to hand off to the next generations. This is where we're at. You need to decide now. Because if you don't take some action now, it's going to be too late. We are already approaching the point of no return. And I'm not trying to scare people, but I think maybe that's what it's going to take. You think that just by waiting and things will be okay? No, they're not going to be okay. You need to get involved, and you need to come out to events like ours, and you need to take action, because if you don't, you're going to end up in a place that you don't want to be. Who knows? Could be like North Korea. It could be, the old Soviet style dictatorship.
Venezuela.
People think, oh, that would never happen. Really? Keep thinking that, because unless you do something, that's exactly where we're going. That's all I wanted to say. And, I'll let Randy take it from there.
Well, you know, you gotta, if you're gonna stand for freedom, you better get off the bench.
That's right.
And Vin,
Well, there is something else I'd like to say. You know, there's a couple of more elements to this whole thing that I want to mention. And one of them, I wish my partner, Kim Wathen, was here to bring that out, because she does a much better job than I do of bringing out the God element, the Christian element, the fact that we need to get back to our Christian roots and we need to get God involved. We need his hand to help us. And I wish she was here to talk about that. Apparently she couldn't be here, but she's also worked with me and all of us in the audit. She's done a ton for New York. She's done more for New York than most New Yorkers. She lives in Michigan. She's now the lead in the state of Michigan for the USA election integrity effort and the lawsuits that are going down out there. So I wish she was here, but she's not. But another thing that we're doing is, as a case in point, we're having Professor Clements. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he's going to be in Buffalo this weekend. He called Kim and I up on Sunday and wanted to know if we could hurry up and put something together for this weekend for Saturday to do an event, because he's going to do one in Pennsylvania. So long story short, we're doing that. And what he's teaching us, and another guy we work with a lot is Dr. Frank. What he's teaching us and what we want to relay and teach as many people as we can. The founding fathers gave us the tools that we need to fix this mess. We have the tools in our toolbox, but we haven't taken the tools out of the toolbox. We've been sitting on the couch. And we need to get people to understand, first of all, we do have the tools. And second of all, just as Eddie was saying, it's time. People need to wake up and stand up and get involved. We have the tools that are right in the Constitution to go to the local level, where General Flynn, one of the very first conversations I ever had with him, and I've had many, and he said, nobody's coming to save us. The only people that are going to save us is us. And he has always said, and it's been quoted here with TOBV many times, local action makes national impact. That is so true.
right,
Because we've been at all levels. We've been at the local level. We've been at the state level. We've been at the national level. We're still at the national level, put lawsuits into federal courts. I don't know how that goes. I pray to God that people show up and put a little push on the judges, in the hand of God. We'll put it to where these courts do what they should do, because these courts can stop this. They have it in their hands. They have the tools. They have the paperwork, the evidence on their desk to stop this. And they can. But we need people to stand up and give them that little bit of a nudge for them to realize that the American people aren't going to put up with this stuff forever. And at the local level, we're trying to teach people the different things that they can do. It's in the Constitution about non-compliance and annulment. It's a constitutional thing. It's a tool that's been given to us. We don't have to comply with unconstitutional stuff.
right.
We need to read the Constitution and know the Constitution and know what our rights are and know what's legal and know what isn't. And we're going to take these things that they're doing, that are breaking the law in the election system, and we're taking it to the local boards, and we're going to show them, you're breaking the law because of A, B, C, and D. We are demanding, we're not asking, we are demanding that you stop breaking the law. We're going to demand that you follow the law. And we're doing the same thing with the lawsuits at the federal level. We're putting these lawsuits in that are demanding. We chose 4 laws that they're breaking. There are many, many more, but we chose 4 that are civil rights violations. They're dilution of the vote. It's disenfranchisement of a voter. It's a civil rights issue. We're not trying to overturn an election. We're not trying to criminalize any particular person. What we're trying to do is point out that the election system is being run completely illegally. They are not complying with the law at all. One of the very first things the Constitution says in the Constitution, election will be one day. It's not supposed to be election season. It's election day. We need to get back to the rule of law. The machines that we're voting on are completely illegitimate and illegal. They're not certified to the standards that the law requires them to be certified. There's not one machine in the country that's certified. We've already found the algorithms in the machines. We've found millions and millions of duplicate registrations. I personally have gone and knocked on doors of voters all over New York State. I've crisscrossed the state, I don't know how many times, getting signed affidavits from voters who had no idea that their identity has basically been stolen. It's felony identity theft. When they get that second registration number, that's a state ID number, that's identity theft. There is no circumstance where they are ever supposed to have that second number. That's completely illegal and illegitimate. We have so many other registration problems. We have January 1st registrations that are completely illegal. You can't register on January 1st. We had one guy had 25 voter registrations and he wasn't even a resident of New York State. I knocked on doors all over the state looking for him, and people had no idea who this guy was that I was talking about. He didn't exist in New York State. He was in jail when the registrations were made, and we proved it. So we have proved mountains and mountains of evidence, not just what I've done with my groups, but the Mike Lindells of the world and Professor Clements and Dr. Frank, and the list goes on.
Randy,
and on.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I do have to run. I got to thank you so much, Katie.
Yeah.
If you could let me run, I have another meeting to go to. But thank you so much for hearing us today. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. And I'll just close out by saying, we can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. That has to keep us going, and that not to be anxious in anything, but through prayers and petition with our request to God, that the peace of God will protect our hearts and minds as you go forward in this amazing event. And I just want to make sure people obviously are going to follow KDF Ministries on Spotify, Rumble, Apple, Facebook, YouTube, X, and obviously go to katy-huff.com/events to see what's going on with Katie Huff Ministries. So katy-huff.com/events for the women's retreat, October 27th through the 30th. So thank you, Randy. Thank you.
Very well.
Our dear friend Eddie, and of course Kim. You guys are just the patriots, and I just bless you, and may the good Lord keep you. And I can't wait to have you back on with Katie Huff Ministries. So please
Thank
be
you so
safe
much.
up there. God bless you, and we'll talk soon.
Take care.
God
Bye-bye.
bless. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Katie Huff with Katie Huff Ministries, and this is Bella Jean, and we're coming to you today to talk to you about setting yourself free by having first a great night's sleep. How's that going to happen? By using My Pillow. My Pillow has incredible products. Bella Jean even has her own dog bed and loves it. She sleeps well at night, so do we. Because we also have the topper, we have the pillows, we've used the sheets, we have the towels, and we even have the slippers. So we are a family that loves My Pillow as much as my Bella Jean, and I'm hoping that your dog will love it as much as ours, and that you'll go to mypillow.com/unmasked. Again, that's mypillow.com/unmasked, and you'll get incredible discounts for your family to be setting themselves free to having a great night's sleep and having an amazing holiday season with My Pillow products. Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Katie Huff with Katie Huff Ministries, and I'm coming to talk to you today about setting yourself free. And what that means is it begins with taking control of your finances. So I was unfortunately introduced to a number of different financial planners that really didn't put me before their profit. And I'm glad to say that Kirk Elliott, PhD, their philosophy is people over profits. They don't rush you. They have a holistic approach. They took my SEP, they invested it into gold and silver, which obviously is diversifying. It may be for you, it may not, but I will tell you this, KirkElliottPhD.com/unmasked, they will go beyond making you comfortable and knowing where your money's going. And so I would just say, take control of your finances. Go to KirkElliottPhD/unmasked for a discount and great advice and peace of mind that you'll have.